Hello guys, good morning. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and men, please do not forget your mother or your wife or mother of your child. As you know, we put our labor of love into every single day taking care of our little ones. And I think part of that has actually rolled over into me, sharing my trading experience with you. It's just that I want to nurture and help everybody succeed in trading. So that's basically how the Modern Trader Summit came about right here. If you guys have not already checked it out, I did put the event timeline up right here in the center, so you can check it out. You can see what the events are going to be and how it's going to run throughout the day. We did have an amazing week this past week with earnings going on. We had here that rocked it. We had TTD. We had Twilio. So there were some amazing stocks that were active this week. And as a result, you can see here on the SPY too, the SPY really ran up. It broke this downward trend line, bounced off the 200-day moving average on the 3rd, and has been moving upwards ever since. I do have these resistance lines here, 273.15, 275.88, 277.90, and 279.84. Those are levels on the daily that I would look at for resistance, just like we had it pull back right here, which was also related, I believe, to the trend line. But now that trend is broken, so I would look for this trend line to hold in the upward movement. And we could easily go up and go ahead and test this. It didn't take very long for it to jump from 260 up to 273. So there could definitely be some movement, and one of our traders actually that's coming on to the Modern Trader Summit is Sean McLaughlin, and he is primarily an options trader strictly on the SPY and the S&P 500. So definitely check it out. You guys can definitely learn a lot from everybody here. That's why everyone's there, is just to share and help everyone succeed. So we'll go ahead and get into the watch list for the week. My first long pick is TTD. As you can see, Trade Desk on Friday, it ripped up on Friday. I had it on my watch list that I let everybody know about pre-market, and it really rocked, as well as WTW. That one rocked as well. WTW is a lower float stock, and when it starts to run, it can really squeeze some shorts. And look at that volume. It ran from 72 up to 77. So it had a nice $5 move. But back to TTW. So we'll go to our 15-minute chart. I would look at a support level of 74.87 and a resistance of 76.11 to be broken. I'm really looking, this is the after hours market. So 76 was the high of this candle for after hours. I would look for it just to be broken above that, because it could bump up with some shorts or with some stops that are out there. If you look at it on a 5-year chart, this is the high of the stock. So it could easily run up from here. Now, it does have 26.65 million in the float and was only 35% short volume on Friday. So I believe that a lot of people are thinking it is going to continue up before it goes down. So I would look for further action and continuation going into Monday, as long as that 76, 10, 11 resistance is broken. Next on the list is FINX. So this is a global fintech ETF. Now this one, I didn't find it on short squeeze. I do like using short squeeze for the short float volume for the day prior. It is a premium service to pay for the daily short sale volume. Now this one, it looks like 96% of the 363,000 shares were short. So I always look at anything above 50%. So 46% of this looks like, if we see that if it moves up and that 46% of that volume hasn't been met, it could really squeeze up on Monday, in my opinion. So I would look at this on the 15-minute, back it out again. I'd say 25 as our support level and 25.25 as the high as well. So looking for that to break out potentially. And when I found the volume, if I can't find it, I will a lot of times go to Wall Street Journal and I'll just put FINX, stock float, and because that's my go-to usually. So I'll just click right there to find the float. So you can see shares outstanding of 4.9 million. So that could really squeeze with that high short float volume from Friday. So put it on watch and let the market decide and enter accordingly. Many times I find that if you have a plan when you're going into your trading day, it's just like any goal that you're trying to accomplish, right? if you have a plan to make that succeed and you put it down and you orchestrate that plan, you're more likely to succeed. If you just really fly by the seat of your pants, then it has a likely to backfire on you. So definitely stick to your trading plan, stick to your risk management, and it will really help you in moving forward and succeeding, and learning that the importance of having that trading plan and seeing the results will help you succeed as well. So next on the long list, SUPN, Supernus Pharmaceuticals. So I would look for support level of 56.20, maybe even bring it down here. You could bring it down a little bit more, 55.90. It is at the 52-week high, so I would look for 58 to be broken. I always like when it's hitting a new 52-week high to back it out to the 5-year chart to see, and you can see it broke out here, from 2017, it broke out. So it is hitting brand new highs in 5 years and highs all over. So this one does have 49.52 million in the float, and it was 55.48% short float volume on Friday. Next on the long list is BKE, Buckle Inc. So this is Friday's chart here, 15-minute chart. Look for support of 24, resistance of 24.35. It does have 27.6 million in the float and 57% short float volume from Friday. We'll back it back to a yearly chart. You can see overall for the year, 24.35 was the high. Oh, interesting. This is so it's got 25 here. Very weird. Looks like it's actually 25. But anyways, this is the high that's breaking out. So I would look for that 25 to be a potential level to be tested for further breakout. And we back it out overall for the stock. You can see it did surge before. It did go all the way up to 56. So we're in the middle of the range overall for the stock. It does have $25 potential to the upside. Some resistance, it looks like we could hit some here at 28 and then potentially here at 30 on up to 35. So look for those levels if it does continue to surge. Next one is ARCB, and BKE has 27.8 million. I did tell you that, with 57% short float volume. Last on the long list is ARCB, that has 24.9 million in the float and 34.8% short float volume on Friday. So this one, we do have that it's tested and it created a new 52-week high on Friday. I would say a support level of 46.10, resistance of 48.70. And when we back it out, you can see really broke out on earnings. Back it out to a 5-year chart. You can see right here, 47.30, past resistance level. So it might pull back from here or it could surge up. So the market will definitely decide. Let's go overall and see for the stock overall. Overall high looks like it was 50.85 or 50.65. So I would look for that to be a strong resistance level as well if it does break above this 47.30 level, which was a prior resistance, and then look for 50.65. After that, if 50.65 does break out, watch out, it could just continue on up with that lower float volume too. All right, so we go to our short list. So on Friday, we had SYMC join the 52-week low club here. I would look for the low, 18.85, to be broken for support level and 20 to the upside for resistance. When we do look back at the yearly chart, you can see it is a year low. After that, this is the 5-year chart. It does look like we've hit a bit of support here. It could continue down to the furthest, I would say 16.50. Watch that as a support level for a bounce or continue drop down. Now, SYMC does have 612 million in the float. Next on the short list is Yelp. It is in the mid-range of the year. So actually, it's correction. It's up at the higher end for the year. Lower end would be 27. So I would say look for a support level of 53.28 to be broken to the downside and a resistance level of 44.54. When we look at the year, you can see it gapped up 3 periods ago on the earnings, and it's pretty much been holding that level ever since. It did use it as a support to bounce, but This time it did pull back, and it's at the 200-day moving average, so I would look for that 43.28. If that does break, it would be a 200-day moving average break to the downside and could continue on down to $40 and then further down test to 38. If that does break, we've got this void to fill down to the bottom, down to 33. So I would watch those levels, like I said, of 40 and 38 if it does break this 200-day moving average to the downside. Next on our short list, PPG, new 52-week low club member, and I would look for a support level of 136, the low of the year, and 101.75. You can see that that was a support or a low prior in the year, and it bounced up off of that a little bit. So keep it on watch. It does look like it's in that downward motion. It closed pretty much at the low of the day, 7 cents off of it. If we look back at 5-year chart, you can see here, it looks like we could go down to 98, then down here to 96.95, further on down to 94. So it does have some more range to the downside if it does bounce, if it does continue down, or it could bounce off of that level right here, which it did prior back in August of 2017. It does have 253 million in the float, so when that momentum does start moving back, it could move back fairly quickly. Next on the list is CWH, Camping World. And this one also joined the 52-week low club. I would say a support level of 21.79, the low, and a resistance of 22.42. When we look at it on the year, you can see really this is the new low, and on a 5-year, I would say if we go down, next level to test would be 21, and then behind that, that's it. 21 is pretty much the low of the stock over the past 5 years. So keep that on watch. If we go down another 80 cents, it could really run down. Now, Camping World does have 31 million in the float. So when you start to see massive drops, just as you start to see the massive drops with low float stocks, they can go up fairly quickly, like right here on this candle here, where we opened at 27.18 and closed at 30.34. So the bigger range movements on those low float stocks, it's basic supply and demand, right? When there's a lot of demand for it, it's going to run up quickly, like WTW and Twilio. And here, those stocks, when the demand is there, it will drive the price up quickly. On the downside, when there's nobody buying, it will drop it quickly as well. So that's why there can be a lot of volatility and a lot of movement in the lower flow stocks. But you have to be careful because when that momentum switches, it can go against you fairly quickly. Last one on the short list is PRGO. So this one is fairly, you've got a good $14 off of the low of the year. And it did drop after hours on Friday due to a rejection of the inhaler for them by the FDA. So this one, many times with pharmaceutical stocks, you will see an overreaction to FDA news. So I would keep it on watch, look for the levels, look for 74 to be broken to the downside, 75.50 for the upside resistance. And then I would look for a level of 72.80, and then we'll just keep it on watch. If it does break down below 72, then it has this gap down here, down to 69. So it could have some big movement on Monday. So keep it on watch. I believe that this one will be moving more in the pre-market as it did move in the aftermarket on Friday. And for some longer term picks, I do have REGN, which did bounce up off the 52-week low on Thursday. So keep that on watch. It's a higher price stock. However, you can see there is big movement in it. So even if you had 100 shares of this, if you bought it down here at 300, and it goes up to 52, right? Or 520, then you've got some big movement there. So that's almost 100% right there. So keep it on watch. Could be a good one longer term. If you do options, you might want to buy some long-term options on that. INOV, another one that bounced up off of the low on earnings. So this one does have a gap to fill to upside. I would say keep a level 9 for support for your short or for your stops. And then UEIC as well. I'd mentioned this one in the past for shorts. It does look like it has found a support level down here. So I would keep this one on watch. It does have another $7 or $6.20 before it would test this 35 level for the gap to fill to the upside. So it's got some movement before it even has a test of resistance to break out in this void fill scenario. As always, carpe profit, guys. Seize those profits one trade at a time. Definitely book your seats for the Modern Trader Summit. It is selling out very quickly. I am attempting to try to get streaming live, but we shall see what happens with that. There's a lot of details. I didn't quite realize how many details. It's like planning a wedding. And it's all about sharing and giving back to you guys and really helping you succeed in your trading journey. Have a great week.